It is Self-Care Sunday. And again, we are back with another live. Y'all know it's me, Xavian Tate, mental health professional. But we're going to change gears a little bit because I have brought a wonderful friend of mine to come speak. Y'all know in October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it's also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And for me personally, domestic violence definitely has a soft spot in my heart. So we have to advocate and talk about this topic. I couldn't think of no one else except for my dear friend, Alyssa. Say hi, Alyssa.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. So she is our wonderful guest speaker. For those who do not know her, let me tell you about this wonderful friend of mine. My friend Alyssa Howard is the assistant director for UAB's Wellness Promotion Interpersonal Violence Prevention. And she is an adjunct professor at the University of Alabama in Birmingham. She graduated with her BS in public health, and in 2020, she graduated with her master's in public health, but concentration in health behavior. In 2022, Alyssa has also earned a certified health education specialist certification upon her graduation in 2022. She's about that life, y'all. In her role, she primarily develops and coordinates health education programs and workshops related to interpersonal violence prevention for students. Her department also offers education on substance misuse prevention, sleep, stress, self-care, sexual health, and so much more. Y'all, I have known Alyssa since our freshman year, 2016. Actually, no, before freshman year, because we actually did UAB. We did UAB Day together when UAB had visited Anniston. So me and Alyssa go all the way back. And seeing her get her master's degree and become an assistant director and a professor, I have no words. Like that's amazing because I know if you can do it, I'm next. I cannot wait because I am next. I cannot wait. But y'all know we gotta get into it. So without further ado, I'm gonna turn it over to my dear friend, Alyssa. Alyssa, take it away.
Okay, well, thank you, X, for that grand introduction. But so, like X said, or Xavian said, we this month we always know that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but a lot of people don't realize that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month also. So 1 in 4 women and 1 in 10 men will experience domestic violence at some point in their lives. So even if it hasn't happened to you directly, more than likely it's happened to somebody that you know. So it's really important to kind of understand the signs of what that looks like, understand how you can help a friend in a situation or somebody that you love. So we'll kind of talk a little bit more about that later. So first, I just wanted to kind of go into what domestic violence is. So when we think about it, we usually think about like physical abuse. Somebody is hitting or assaulting somebody in like a physical way. But domestic violence looks really different depending on the situation. So it could be obviously the physical violence, but it could be sexual violence, threats, emotional abuse, and then other forms of control. And really, and so let me pull this up. When we talk about healthy relationships versus unhealthy relationships, usually what is wrong, what we're missing is that there's an imbalance of power and control. So in a healthy relationship, we see that there's an equality across all of it. You are having, you can talk about things without fear of having repercussions. You have a mutual respect, trust, honesty, support. Healthy relationships are based on equality and respect. But then when we start to get into unhealthy relationships or even abusive relationships, that equality starts to get imbalanced. So we start to see with unhealthy relationships, there's this struggle for power and control. And I'm going to keep saying those two words because that's really what the basis of all of it is. You start to see one person try to control the other person. You may see like some manipulation, some dishonesty, inconsiderate behavior, but then when it progresses and that power and control is completely owned by one person, that's when we start to see the abuse happen. Okay, so when we talk about abuse, I'm going to share this now. Maybe if I can. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Let me make it full screen. So when we talk about these abusive behaviors, this is something we call the power and control wheel. And you see at the center of that is power and control, because that is the point of all of this abuse that we see. And here are some tactics that we most commonly see. And you see that there's some that are obviously physical violence like we see, but then there's other ones like isolation. So you pressure your victim to stay away from friends or family, or pressures to quit jobs or other activities. So that's one of those emotional things. We also have some stuff like intimidation, violating privacy, all of those things with go into play, and they work together to start trying to take over that power. Okay, I'm coming back out now. Okay. So yeah, we are seeing it in college students. There's specifically like some higher rates recently. So it's been interesting in my job just to kind of navigate that. There's obviously been some like big stories going on, and navigating having those conversations with students has been interesting. So then we have, oh, were you about to say something?
Nope. I'm just taking it all in.
Okay, gotcha. So also we talk about the cycle of violence. So basically when we talk about domestic violence, especially when it's not happening to us, a lot of times we could look and say, why don't they just leave? And it's not that simple. And if it was that simple, then we wouldn't see the same rates of domestic violence that we see. So I'm going to reshare it again. Mm-hmm. So another wheel that we have is the cycle of violence wheel. And basically this is a pattern of behaviors that keeps survivors locked in an abusive relationship. So at the center of all this is love, hope, and fear. They love that person, and they have hope that they're going to get better. And maybe they're a little bit fearful of what will happen if they leave the relationship. So how this goes, let me go to the next one. So there's the 3 stages. The tension stage, or the tension building stage, is where you're walking on eggshells. You feel like something's off. You're kind of scared to say, but nothing has actually happened yet. And then we get to the violence, the blow up. This is when the big abusive thing happens, whatever that may be. And then right afterwards, we hit the honeymoon phase, which is I'm so sorry. That was not me. I'll never do that again. I'll buy you gifts. I'll do all of these things. And it's good. It's calm. This is the person that you fell in love with. And everything is good until you get back around to the tension building phase, because it goes in this cycle. It'll be good for a little bit. The honeymoon phase is cool and nice, and then tensions start to build again. And because of this cycle, with all of these 3 things in the middle, it usually takes about 7 to 12 times for somebody to leave an abusive relationship before they leave for the last time, which is sad and scary to me. But we understand why when we look at things like this. Okay. Okay, can you see me again? Okay. So when we're talking about looking for signs of an abusive relationship, the first thing is to pay attention to those obvious signs. Maybe you're noticing that your friend is pulling away. And I'm going to share another slide. When we first get into the unhealthy relationships, we start to see like some manipulation, the breaks in communication, pressure, dishonesty, struggles for control, all of those things. Those are when it's starting to tiptoe on, I don't know if this is good or if it's bad. Some manipulation tactics could be crying for sympathy, yelling or using anger to intimidate, using guilt, making threats to the relationship, gaslighting, which, if people don't know, gaslighting is where a person can start to make their partner question reality, in a sense. So for instance, if something happened, they would if somebody cheated, if one partner cheated, and the victim confronted them about it, and they lied and made up all of these crazy random stories, and then like shifts it to a point of saying, why would you think that? You must be cheating if you think that I'm cheating, like saying kind of crazy off the wall stuff like that to make that person feel like inadequate for the situation. Using a condescending or insulting manner, or being passive aggressive, and then cold shoulder or silent treatments. All of these are manipulation tactics. And then love bombing. So love bombing is another manipulation tactic that's more consistent in more prevalent in new relationships. So basically, this is when a new partner uses these grand gestures and intense attention to quickly escalate the relationship. Some warning signs of this could be over the top or extreme compliments. You're the answer to all my prayers. You're perfect. My life would be nothing without you. They call you their soulmate, and you may feel like things are moving faster than what they should be. Communication with them is really intense. You feel overwhelmed with texts, calls, and messages throughout the day. And here's some more: costly gifts, so expensive trips, pricey jewelry, financial support. And basically, this could be used to validate harsh treatment. And then they want all of your time. In a healthy relationship, you have yourself and you have the relationship. It shouldn't be one thing together. It needs to be, you need to have time to do what the things that you only like to do outside of the relationship. So basically, all of these things are used to manipulate a person into kind of being submissive or submitting to that person. Okay. Then we move on to abusive relationship. And that's, like I said earlier, this is when that power and control has completely been shifted. And once again, it could be manipulation, the controlling or isolating, completely pulling people away from their friends or family, criticizing, intimidating, blame shifting, threatening, or mistreating. And these are all of the things that, in addition to like all of the other things that we know could be abusive. So the physical and the sexual, emotional, all of those things. So just some more, these are college specific statistics, but 21% of college students reported experiencing dating violence by their current partner, and 32% reported experiencing dating violence by a previous partner. And with when we're talking about this abuse, and these once again are kind of specific to college students, but they also play into or they also will come into effect in just general everyday life with adults as well. And some things that can influence abuse could be the presence of drug or alcohol. We know that can lower inhibitions and make people react in ways that they maybe wouldn't react while sober. Stressful schedules. So just being stressed in general can also make people act out of character. Tight-knit friend groups. So when you have that tight-knit friend group and somebody is trying to pull you away constantly and isolating you from that, or maybe you're spending more time with your friends than them, then that can cause some tension. And then also social media and some other technology devices. And this one is an interesting one. And but basically social media, think about, right now, we're posting this on live so people can see or make judgments as to where we are. And thinking about like our stories on Instagram or Snapchat, and we go to these restaurants and we snap up the picture and put the location in and tell every bit of our movement for the whole day. And I'm guilty of this too. But that gives people a lot of access to us, and lets them know where we are at any point. So be careful with that, but that can also influence abuse. Okay. So when we're talking about supporting a loved one in an abusive relationship, knowing the signs is the most important thing. If you notice that your friend is pulling away and it's harder and harder for you to get in touch with them, or if you see like physical signs, bruises, and it can look so many ways, but just pay attention to your friends, and don't judge them for staying in the relationship and not leaving, because as we saw earlier, there is this cycle. People want to leave, but there are a lot of factors, especially if they're married, they live together, they have kids. There's a lot of factors that can keep somebody in an abusive relationship. Stay in touch. And this one is a big one, because with abuse, and I've said it a few times, isolation is a huge, huge, huge abuse tactic for people. And so simply just staying in touch, sending a message, calling somebody, lets them not be completely isolated. Because a lot of times people or abusers will say things like, oh, look, you don't have anybody else. You don't have anybody. Nobody likes you. They say all these emotionally manipulative things to make people feel alone, when really, if we keep in touch and stay in touch, then we can empower them. Moving on to the next one. Empower them to see the signs, see the red flags, and hopefully leave the relationship. Once again, we're not making anybody do anything that they absolutely don't want to do unless there's complete danger. But you can offer help. So offering help as in, I can take you to a shelter or you can stay with me. Helping somebody make a safety plan is really important as well, because people don't think about that a lot of the times. And a safety plan could literally just be something as simple as, if things get too bad, this is where I'm going, and just letting your family know what your steps are, or what your steps would be in that situation. And then lastly, just being a friend. Obviously, an abusive relationship can be emotionally tolling, even if it's physical abuse, but it can just be a lot on a person. So simply just being a friend is one of the best ways that you can support somebody.
Mhm.
Okay. And so I always like to talk about this resource right here. Love is Respect Hotline is like a great, great resource. And it's honestly one of the first ones that I say. And I like it because it has a text option. So if you're in a situation where you notice that, or if you're in a situation where maybe you can't pick up the phone and call and you're scared of the repercussions of what may happen, you can text Love Is to 22522, which I think is awesome. They also have a phone number, but texting is more discreet. So I like that option. And then obviously we have the National Domestic Violence Hotline as well, which is another great resource to use. I kind of flew through that a little bit. Do you have any like specific questions?
Like, it was amazing, Alyssa. Thank you so much. Definitely seeing the visual. I love the presentation. Shout out to you. Like you put your heart and soul into it. I do have a few questions slash subtopics concerning domestic violence.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about the pizza method? I don't know if that's actually what it's called, but do you know anything about the pizza method? You're calling 911 for a pizza?
I haven't heard that actually. I did. So I have seen like some things like certain bars will have these tactics that they'll have stuff in the bathroom and have like an angel shot or something.
Yeah.
I think is what it's called. Like if you're in a scary situation that you can do, kind of use that, tell the bartender that. I haven't heard about the pizza method though. So
Yeah, I don't know much about it myself, but I saw it on TikTok. And then it was an entire song, and the song was so sad, but it was so beautiful. But basically, there's a method. I don't know how true the method is, but there's a method for you calling. You call 911
mhm.
and you order a pizza, and then I don't know all the steps, but you order a pizza, saying like pepperoni, cheese, and then the 911 dispatcher is like understand the language, and then you tell them it's your way of telling them the address.
Mhm.
So I heard I don't know what the actual method is called, but I call it the pizza method. So that's what I
Yeah.
saw. And I've been seeing the angel shot as well. And I'm guessing that there are three types of angel shot. Um I don't I don't know all the angel shots. Do you know the angel shots?
I don't know the types, but I have seen it. I actually had saw it in a bar before, but thankfully haven't had to use it, so I didn't really pay too much attention for it. I like the pizza method. And I don't have to like maybe add that into my slides because that is smart. That's a way that you can literally tell them your whole entire address without having to say like a full will make the full call.
So definitely, and for our visual learners out there, I can share my little screen that I found right here. And this is what according like what's called the angel shine. So do you feel unsafe or even just a bit weird? We're here to help. Just go to the bar and order an angel shot. If you order it neat, your bartender will escort you to your vehicle. If you with ice, your bartender will call you an Uber or Lyft for you. And if you order with lime, your bartender will call the police. And basically it look like this.
I like that.
Yep. So that is the angel shot, the pizza method. Do you know have you heard of the hand sign for it? For domestic violence? I think it like at least it's kind of hard to do in my with my wonderful background. So I'm gonna have to let my background go.
I will say that the color of the month is purple. So if you see a purple ribbon this month, it's for domestic violence awareness.
Yes, color is purple. I'm putting none for this. And like I'm guessing you put up your fingers and like and then you close it. And then hopefully I'm doing it. Hopefully I'm doing it. But like, yeah, it's like
yeah, it's interesting because I know for me, before I got into this work, I didn't even realize how big this month was, and there's so much that goes on for it. So October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and then April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month or Sexual Violence Awareness Month, and those two go hand in hand a lot of the time.
yeah. Oh, I did it right. I had to. I love even as a professional, I loved double checking myself because
Absolutely,
that's what we do. But yeah, you point your camera, you put palm to the camera, and then you touch the thumb, and then you trap the thumb. So
okay, yeah, that's interesting. I feel like I'm learning stuff. I'm by far I don't need to say that. I am learning more and more stuff about this every single day. And even when I feel like I am well versed in it, there's just so much to know, which is a good thing. I think the more we know about it, the more that we can hopefully stop it from happening.
yeah.
Interesting enough, stalking is becoming one of the most common forms of domestic violence. And stalking, I know personally, when I hear stalking, I think about like Joe from You, the Netflix show, like this obvious, I'm watching around corners and peeking out from wherever, just following somebody around. But it can be a lot more subtle than that. Stalking could be following people or watching their page from fake pages, or contacting friends, sending unwanted gifts, letters, money, all of those things fall under stalking. And yeah, I want to say that it's one of like one in, let me look up the statistics so I'm not completely, I don't want to say it wrong.
That's all right. And as you can see, to our wonderful virtual audience, even as professionals, we are very huge on fact checking ourselves because the statistics can change, the research, new research and new literature is being published and submitted every single day. So
Mhm.
as we learn and we continue to perfect our craft, it is our job to let you know about the new literature and the new language. So,
Yes, and I'm pulling it up because I actually kind of like compiled some stuff the other day, like just trying reading new literature and just trying to get learn as much as I can. And let's see. So 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men will experience stalking at some point in their lives. And 42% of those people who meet the legal definition of stalking don't even realize that that's what's going on.
oh wow.
Yeah. When I saw that one, that was interesting to me.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So, and just so people here can think about it. So stalking is the legal definition is a series of actions directed at a specific person that would cause a reasonable person to fear for their safety or for the safety of others or suffer substantial emotional distress. So this is basically, and then to shorten it, causes or creates a hostile environment through continuous and unwanted attention.
Mm.
So yeah, it was interesting. Um, on our campus, it's pretty prevalent, but we also have found that a lot of the people who think they're being stalked, uh, if like they could just say, "Hey, I don't want to be contacted anymore,"
Mhm.
and that may stop the problem. Of course, that's not always the case, but if you think that you're being stalked, the first step, if you are safe, if and only if you're safe, you should try and tell that person that you don't want to be contacted anymore because they may not realize what they're doing is making you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But if the behaviors continue after you do that, you cut off all contact and then alert somebody that you trust.
Well, that is true. That is true.
Mhm.
I'm just amazed at all the information I learned today.
Yay.
And like even when I know a little bit about domestic violence, like hearing the information from your point of view and the statistics that you bring, like wow. And then of course I gotta put the mental health
Yeah.
slide in there. And those for those who experience domestic violence, they also um, unfortunately can develop mental health conditions. Um, one of the most famous one of the most famous mental health conditions that can be developed is PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, and it is according to those who I came across who told me this story, it is, and also the literature and the research, it is definitely not fun because even it's one of those it's one of those moments where even though you are out of the situation, it is a constant repeat. It is a repeating cycle, and like you have to you're constantly watching your back. You're constantly not trying to say paranoid, but you are on alert. You are constantly on alert, and you're literally having flashbacks. Like domestic violence is something else. Like, and that is why, and it is real, and that is why it is up to me. It's up to Alyssa. It's up to you, the everyone else to do our very best to prevent it. And how to prevent it is, well, you're already doing it. You have become educated. There we go. Almost tongue twisted my words. You become educated on the topic, and now you become educated. We challenge you to take action. Like, do not do your best. Do your best to intervene. Be that friend. Again, just going back to my suicide prevention live. Be the one. You can use the same steps in domestic in domestic violence prevention. Be the one to check up on them. Be the one to be there with them. Like, just be present anyway you can. Be the one to follow up with them. Be the one to keep them safe. So
to your PTSD thing, I actually have a statistics, and I probably should have shared this one in the beginning. So in the US, this is not related, but it'll kind of go to, I mean, it's related, but you'll see. So in the US, an average of 20 people experience domestic violence every single minute, which equates to 10 million victims annually. And of these, so out of all of, after experiencing domestic violence, 52% of women and 17% of men showed PTSD symptoms. So almost half of or over half of the women and almost 20% of men experience PTSD symptoms afterwards. So it's common.
Gotcha. And thank you for sharing. It doesn't matter if it's the beginning or if it's in the middle or it's in the end. As long as we say something about it. So as you can see that we learned a lot today. Now we're gonna debrief and we're gonna take a nice deep breath, like and then exhale. And now it's time to wrap up. So we have learned a lot about domestic violence. We learned about the vicious cycle. We learned the vicious cycle. We learned about the warning signs. We learned about it's so much in the presentation. Like, it's all right there. We learned about a love bombing and everything. So now, like I said a few seconds ago, we challenge you to be the one to keep them safe, to follow up with them, and just be there with them. This is your call to action. We have educated you on this subject, and we're going to keep educating you on this subject. Because even as October comes to an end, domestic violence never stops. It can happen in November, December, any of the other months. So keep advocating for domestic violence awareness. Keep speaking up. Keep being let's see, what's that word that we use in at work? It goes along with the three. It goes along with the 3Ds, which was
an active bystander.
Yes, be an active bystander. So,
and the 3Ds are distract, be direct, or delegate. So if you are comfortable being direct, say something directly. If you're not comfortable, you maybe delegate to somebody who can handle better, like police officers or other trusted people. And then distract, which would mean like kind of creating a distraction or asking your friend to come stay with you or something like that. And then I'll also add that of course, be an active bystander and be the one for friends. But if you are experiencing domestic violence, then hopefully this kind of shows you that you're not alone. And
yes,
just because domestic violence is happening a lot does not make it okay. So
Awesome. Yes. So as we wrap up, because we can talk all day, but unfortunately, we cannot. We just want to let you know that we love you, we see you, we care about you, no matter who you are, no matter where you are. There is always hope for you. Again, and again, just be the one. Then be the one. Be the one to do something. This is your call of action. So, Alyssa, do you have any closing comments?
not really. Thank you for inviting me on today.
So, of course, I'm super excited. Thank you so much for clearing your busy schedule to talk about this topic with me. Everyone gives virtual hand clap of praise. Yeah. For my wonderful friend Alyssa, I'm just very extremely proud of her. She's very passionate about this work, and she has a heart for for not only our students but also for people in the community. Like Alyssa is amazing. So I'm very blessed to have a wonderful friend and a wonderful coworker to to do this work with. But we're gonna let you go. And like I said, we love you, and we're gonna see you next time. Bye. And